All right, 2/3 of the participant looking to learn more about Maptician. Thankfully, that's why we're here. And then a couple of folks interested in perfect video conferencing, and you'll get some of that too. All right, without further ado then, Solomon, I'm going to hand it over to you and the poll, and then I know we're going to pin your video, so we'll all go background. So Solomon, take it from here, sir.
Hello and welcome everyone. For those of you just joining us for the first time, this meeting will be recorded. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Solomon and I'm the Sales Development Representative here at Perfect Video Conferencing and Dynamic Collaboration Solutions, or as you now know, DCS Global. Also, for those of you that don't know, Maptician will be hosting a 30-minute live demo after this presentation. Today, we are presenting our partner, Maptician. Maptician is the all-in-one software solution for the hybrid workplace, including office hoteling, conference room management, and employee collaboration. As we return to a hybrid workspace, Perfect VC and DCS Global are finding our clients need options to provide access to shared workspaces that are safe, equitable amongst teams for accessing the most productive areas of your office. We added Maptician to our solutions due to our high demand from customers like yourself. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the Q&A button on the bottom of your Zoom control panel. One of our facilitators, Medi Barrett, Randy Marquette, or myself will bring them up during the presentation, and we will also have the time for questions at the end. You can also chat with us directly. A recorded version of the webinar will be available and emailed. Also, for those of you that don't know, at the end of this PowerPoint presentation, we will be taking a short break before having Maptician do a live demo for us. Now, without further ado, we will turn time over to Randy Marquette to go over today's outcomes, agendas, and what got us excited about Maptician in the first place. Randy, the mic is yours.
I won't take advantage of that, and thank you very much, Solomon. Yeah, as a logistics, we want to promise to keep ourselves focused and the time used well. Most of this will be about the product that we're excited about. And so behind the scenes, she's not a chat bot. She helps with marketing. So any feedback you have on your experience today, Medi Barrett will be glad to help out. I'm going to do a little bit about the perfect video conferencing. My colleague, Jeff Goldstein, will give an introduction to DCS, and then Ashley, Katie, and Ella from Maptician will take the mic from here. I'm one of the co-founders of the Perfect Video Conferencing brand. We've merged recently with DCS, gave me the opportunity to join a broader team with a global footprint. So it's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for attending. Next slide is fine, Medi. We value your time, so we really want to focus on this new platform and why we believe you need it. And I'm not a slide reader, so you could see it, but ultimately there are some key things about this that allow you to manage the assets and share them, as Solomon mentioned, with some equity among your staff. We're trying to make the workplace of tomorrow and today, post this pandemic thing. I don't know if you heard of it, but we want to make sure the return to office is a desirable event. We don't like calling it return to work because most of us have been working. And the intention is to make this office space a collaborative and equitable, usable space, get more work, get more use out of the asset you're funding. So it's just not an empty shell. Why a new partner? We're the integrator, we're the reseller, we're the partner, we're the solution provider. But in order to know that this is the promises that we're going to make are true in the next 20 or 30 minutes, we're going to offer you any free demos, testing and provisioning easy, and obviously we'll send you the recording. Next slide, please, Medi. And then as an agenda goes, you saw it in the invite. I'll hand it off to Jeff, and it's sort of your 30 minute, yeah, here's your 30-minute warning. Here's your 60-second warning, Jeff. It's going to come to you in a moment. And then here are your presenters. Next slide. And Jeff, the mic is yours, I think. No, so here's what got us excited about Maptician. Again, not a slide reader, but from a technical perspective, our CTO looked at this and found a gap in the market, and customers looking for not just wayfinding at the door, but resource allocation across a integrated platform. From an operations perspective, Rich took a look at it, and we vetted this as a team. And it, for him, it was exciting because it's a way to change the way we return to work, and then find people faster, and then candidly just keep the space safer, cleaner, and more accessible. And I like it because the Maptician people are cool. And so I'm just going to pivot to the next slide. Great. Perfect video conferencing. We're an AV integrator, so head to our website. I think Mehdi's going to do that for us now. Essentially, we historically have built conference rooms, done AV integration, and then we've picked a list of partners that really help us enable modular build-outs to conference rooms. So tell us small, medium, and large, or AV auditoriums. We've got some products that line up directly like that. And we have a store infrastructure, and so Mehdi, we can pivot to that just fine. And I think if you choose the product partners drop down, you can kind of see the list of things that we've been certified as resellers, and so our volume, our ability, and our skill put us in their top tier. And so we want to just be transparent that we do a lot of things, we don't do all things. And so when we're engaging with you, we just want to make sure that the partnership is right, and Maptician will soon become one of the happy spaces on this list. Thanks, Mehdi. Next slide, please. And then we've seen the store. So with that, Jeff, I know the time is yours. I'd be glad to hand it off to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks so much, Randy. Appreciate it, and welcome everybody. First I want to shout out our panelist Kathleen. I agree with her that Randy should get the bow tie award, so that's nice. And on to the next slide. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about DCS Global. We are a manufacturer of kiosk hardware, digital signage, and other metal fabricated products such as enclosures and things of that nature. We do this in the Plano and Chicago areas. We have a lot of square footage, and we have a lot of engineers on staff that we use that can do any custom projects you may have, in addition to our off-the-shelf kiosks that we offer. In the office space, we do offer some applications such as visitor management and some self-service check-in and things of that nature. Next slide, Mehdi. And real quick, I'm just going to say what's new this year at DCS Global. DCS Global is affiliated with AT&T. We are a partner with them, so we do all of their digital signage and kiosk projects throughout the United States and soon to be Europe and other areas of the world. So we have a lot of experience in that side of the business. And as Randy has discussed, we've recently merged with PVC. So we've brought on an AV component, which is fantastic for our business. And then just going forward, our website's going to be revamped, e-commerce sites, and a lot of new products we're going to be coming out with. Obviously, why we're here is one new product, which is Maptician. Next slide, Mehdi. And just like Maptician, the next slide will be we partner with the best in breed, but this is showing us the customer base we have. And you can see we deal with some fairly large companies, also obviously small companies, small office groups, whatever size company you have or work with, we'd be happy to service them with the same amount of service to all of our customers. Next slide, Mehdi. And we do partner with the best in breed, as you can see here. Obviously, we're going to add Maptician to this list, but that's how we are successful across all different verticals and in all different segments of technology. And with that, I think we're going to hand it over to Maptician and have them take it away.
Thank you, Jeff. All right. Thanks, everyone. We are absolutely delighted to be here. I am Ala Pasha, the CEO of Maptician. I have with me here Ashley Albury and Katie King. Ashley is our COO, and Katie really does a great job of getting what we say implemented. So we have a great team here, and we're really looking forward to sharing, some information with you. Next slide, please. So a little bit about Maptician. We really focus on space occupancy and hybrid office, management software. We have a cloud-based software. This means that you don't have anything on premise. There's no servers. You basically, the way to access our software is from a browser, from a phone, any type of cellular phone. And as you'll see later, when we talk about conference rooms, we have support some devices for signage as a conference room. We started right here in Atlanta, where I'm actually calling from today, around 2016. And today we have some clients in legal. We have quite a few legal firms, some government, healthcare, technology, and financial services. I would say we're seeing a lot of, in terms of return to the office, I would say legal and financial services is probably kind of taken the lead, if you will. I would say a little bit ahead of others, from that standpoint, but we're delighted. We have quite a few customers in a lot of different sectors. I think one of the things that we pride ourselves with and we pay attention to every single day is it's so easy to build something complex, if that makes sense. And, we really take the time to make sure that the solution is easy to use and, more importantly, easy to implement. I think the appetite for, I've been in technology all my life, about 25 years. And I think, I've seen enough and folks have seen enough of the systems that takes 9-month projects and Gantt charts and everyday meetings and weekly meetings and all of that stuff to get something implemented. We pride ourselves where, we can have a customer up and running literally within a week. Typically takes about 2 to 3 weeks, by the time we go through the planning and, help our customers navigate through the transition to hybrid. But I would say this is something that's very important. We'd like to emphasize. And then, quite candidly, appreciate, the good words, Randy, of why you kind of picked Maptician. It's very similar to why we like working with you as well, because we're a relationship-based, company. We don't like to haze our software, and we'll see you later. We are heavily engaged with our clients, and we take a lot of pride in that. Next slide, please. In terms of the hybrid office, we're going to talk about our solution today from kind of two lenses, if you will, or maybe three. One is a hybrid office. We're going to touch on that a little bit. We're going to touch on conference rooms, and then we're going to talk about occupancy and kind of space planning, if you will. Really, the core pieces of our product, we take to build a hybrid office. We take a floor plan, we translate it, or we change it into a dynamic floor plan, which you'll get to see in the demo here. And simply put, what this allows you to do is allows you to take this kind of static, floor plan that's on a piece of paper into something that's truly dynamic, that you can go run on your browser and be able to literally navigate through the office and change anything you wish to change. So you can take, let's say if you're saying, we're not going to need a lot of desks, but we'll convert some of those desks to conference rooms because we don't have 100% of the staff coming in every day. Very easy to do yourself. You don't need us. So this is kind of the planning piece of it, is how do you take, what you have today and turn it into a hybrid workplace, if you will. And then once this is in place, there's obviously, how do you enable this? So we enable this by providing, very easy to use tools to make reservations, see who's working in the office today. Let's say I want to go tomorrow to the office. I want to see who's there tomorrow. Just things that allow you to kind of navigate and live through this, hybrid environment. And then, optimization is something that's very important as well, because we think if there was one thing common about hybrid is that it's dynamic. It changes. You may try something for your organization and then 3 months later say, maybe we need to do more hoteling. Maybe we need to do less hoteling. Maybe we need to dedicate more conference rooms. So we give you the analytics and the reporting and everything you need, to be able to properly get visibility to what you have right now. And more importantly is how you optimize it, going forward, in the future. I would like to see if there's any questions before I turn it over to Katie. Any questions, Mehdi, from
the one came to me directly.
Yep.
And I think we can feed this into the presentation. Oh, actually, another one just came to me. Yeah, keep sending them. We have Zoom room schedulers and a map built in to book the rooms on Zoom. Why would I need Maptician?
So for the room itself, if you're only using Zoom and Zoom scheduling, you're probably okay from that standpoint. Where you would need to use Maptician is, if you're looking for a solution that, brings in, your hybrid office with your conference room. We have a very easy to use, sophisticated conference room management system that is part of Maptician, if you will. So what this will do is you'll have one floor plan, one map, everything will be consistent. When you make reservations on Maptician, it automatically syncs up with your Zoom and with the Outlook. The other thing is, so I would say candidly, you would need it, to have more of just a conference room if you want to kind of get into the hybrid planning, being able to communicate with folks, collaboration, and those kind of things.
A couple of others that I see coming in, but I will hold them for now.
All right, Katie, you can go to the next slide. Next slide, please. There we go. Katie,
all right. Thanks. So a major function of the Maptician tool is the conference room management piece. And so our booking tool is integrated through Microsoft, syncing bookings across both the web as well as mobile, and then with the digital signage also at room kiosks for any room of any type. So it's web-based, which makes it hardware agnostic and simply just requires a browser. So from testing at our office, we really recommend the iOS and Android devices, but we're also here and happy to test anything. And that is the preferred pathway, if you will, but we also do offer an alternative pathway, basically communicating with Microsoft 365, which simply displays the Maptician data on a device like an e-ink device. And we actually have a mutual client going down this pathway right now. But the functionality of the signage includes a quick reserve at the kiosks. You can see kind of the view over there on the right on the screen, and we'll see this later in the demo, but also a find a room feature with extensive filterability options, and also the floor plan view protecting occupants' privacy, so not showing individuals in seats. And you can go to the next slide that's featuring more of a close-up of the find a room and the office map functions of the signage. So the filterability is great because you can search by room capacity, by equipment, by time availability. So very easy and intuitive to use. And I am going to pass it over now to Ashley.
Awesome. Thanks, Katie. And again, I know there's been a lot of things going around, but I just also want to thank DCS for inviting us to this webinar and partnering with us. Like Ala and Randy have both mentioned, partnerships are so important to us. And one of the things we're on a quest to do right now is have an all-encompassing solution for our clients. And to do that, we have to have a partner like DCS. So I think this is actually just a perfect pairing going forward. And with that, I want to tell you a little bit more about our background and answer a little bit more of the question that Ala answered as well. So on the next slide, Mehdi, you're going to see a little bit about our space planning. And, I just mentioned we're on this quest to be the all-encompassing in-office solution, a web-based solution that has everything under one roof. And one of the things I always like to talk about there is we talk to clients every single day who don't want another subscription. And so I think if the person who asked that question is still online, that's a really good thing to think about, is that when you're thinking about space management, hybrid management, conference room management, visitor management, not having a subscription to all of those things is actually a benefit. And that's what we're doing here at Maptician. So initially, space planning was one of those things and continues to be today. And what that is really understanding via floor plan. So we take your floor plans, we ingest them into the system, and you all of a sudden have a movable dynamic floor plan that tells you exactly how you're using your space. So whether you're planning for a new space or you're optimizing your current space, our space planning tool really helps with that effort. And then on top of that, if you want to go to the next slide, we always like to talk through, as this comes up, it goes a little slower, that while we do operate very heavily in the professional services space, we have clients across the board, everything from law firms, and I know there's some law firms online today, to technology firms, and about everything in between. And so here's some representation of who those clients are for us, and it's certainly not all inclusive, but there's several on here that you can kind of get a really good feel that professional services space is really key for us, although we serve all clients of all sizes too. So next slide, please. One of the things I'm sure several of you are interested in, especially when you're thinking of integrations with software and hardware and install. So from a Maptician standpoint, we make integrations very simple. So the integrations for us in most cases are already in place and take about 30 minutes to 1 hour on average to integrate into a client environment. And so the key integrations for us would be an SSO integration, which typically ends up being a Microsoft or Okta integration, as well as, of course, all of the Microsoft tools and iCal as well, of course. But all of those integrations we find to be incredibly important to already have in place so that all of your users for whatever function, whether it's space planning, conference rooms, anything, are auto provisioned into our system and then talking to the rest. So you have a current view of everybody who is in your office. And that could be new employees coming in, that can be employees terming out. We check every 40 minutes to make sure that auto provisioning is in place through Microsoft's Azure Active Directory. So then also access control systems, say that fast, we have integrated with several. So, and I'm going to talk through in the live demo why that matters. We have a function called presence. And in short, that is to see who is in the office right now and who's planning to be in the office in the future. And so we use access control systems or IP-based integrations to achieve that. So integrations, again, already in place. You don't pay for them with us. They're already there, which makes it incredibly, incredibly valuable. I see we have another question. Let's see here. What did you mean by reception and check-in services? Access control, question mark. So two things there. So from a reception standpoint, that would be your visitor management check-in, a kiosk of sorts that allows you to have a virtual receptionist and be able to have somebody check into that kiosk and route that information to another person, letting them know that they have a visitor in the office. And let's see here, access control. So access control, that's simply an integration for us so that if somebody badge swipes into an office, that we can mark them as present within Maptician. And that will make a little bit more sense in a live demo. But the key being, we want it to be super simple so people don't have to do anything. So you can get a good view of who's in office and who's planning to be in office in the hybrid world. All right, I'm gonna take a breath here and see if there are any other questions coming through the chat or any new questions that anybody has.
Yeah, actually, they are coming to me. And so there was a follow-up on the access control. And I'm going to paraphrase it here. It looks like it's, so if someone checks in as a guest, can I change the experience of any of my digital signage? And I think I can help with that answer. So from an integration perspective, yeah, we know that a guest checks in. Whether or not the conference room and the scheduler outside the room says anything is one thing, but as a digital signage provider, we can also integrate with the reception television, or even in some school systems, we do a point to the right or point to the left now that you've checked in. So yeah, the connection of the individual in the room can be highlighted on a Maptician map to say where you're going, so they have a sense of the floor plan. But from a digital signage perspective, we can elevate the experience so that then even the courtesy displays or the conference room televisions say, "Welcome, Ashley, to your conference room." So there's some integrations that can be done for the outsiders coming in as well.
Yeah, that's a great point, Randy. So definitely on the digital signage, that's what I've experienced as well. Just some really great interrupt-driven content that comes in for those visitors. And then from the Maptician side, we're also looking at the wayfinding. And I've been saying a lot of the words like floor planning and maps and things like that, but that's really wayfinding at its core. Having a good floor plan in place where somebody can take a look at it and understand where they are and where they're going is super key. So we try to display that floor plan for visitors and current employees as many times as we can and in as many instances. Okay, let's go to the next slide, which I believe we're getting close to the end. And I actually think we're going to wrap up in good time. So Randy, I think I'm going to turn it to you at this point, kind of for some final thoughts and maybe final questions.
Excellent. There are two more that I'm going to came in over chat that I'm going to kind of combine. And it's essentially like, well, can I, one is like, how do I facilitate my open cube space? And I think it'd be nice to have you speak to that a little bit, maybe pull up the floor plan or something, or stay on for the demo. How do I facilitate my cube use? And can I block out some usage between usage?
Yes.
automatically was part of it. And then are there other facilities assets that I can render into Maptician? So if I'm booking a collaboration space, could I then also
Yes.
book catering or cleanup, because Randy's a slob kind of stuff? So
Yeah,
That's right.
two answers there. And Ala, definitely chime in if I miss something, but the hoteling piece. So if I'm looking at cubicles and really wanting to find a way to have those be limited to time and to certain people, we have all of that functionality in Maptician, so that if I have a cube farm that says, I need people to be able to use these for 2 hours and no longer than that, you can put those limits on that. Or maybe I need them to use it for 2 hours and it can only be a certain group of people. You can even do that. So we can help facilitate all of that, and you don't have to adopt one of those strategies universally. You can do it different ways throughout your office, which I think is really good. And Ala, did you have something else that you wanted to mention there?
No, this is perfect. Perfect, Ashley. Thank you.
Okay, great. And then the automatic side of things, we pretty much tried to make everything as automated as possible in Maptician. Of course, you can always do everything you want manually, but pretty much everything's automated at the setup level and then with integrations as well.
So links to Grubhub, so I can order my food too, and then have that.
You know
We're
what?
actually thinking about it.
Funny enough.
We are. This is something for the future, the near future.
Yep. And then you also, Randy, mentioned some routing of information. So if I need to be able to route information to catering or to somebody so they can actually order catering, or maybe audio visual setup, tear down, that is all coming here in the coming hours and days for Maptician. So that's great too.
And then we know from the video conferencing side, most of the platforms have some AI behind the camera in the room. And so we can set the room density. A room for 12 isn't going to support a booking for 20 individuals in an Outlook calendar, and some alerts can, especially from a safety sanity perspective, if we go back to trying to maintain 6 feet of distance, the AI behind the video conferencing side of this can really help augment the experience of the room and the booking ability. And so there's no reason not to splash a red warning you're overbooking the room, or send over a message to facilities or HR that Randy was multitasking during a meeting, because that's what the camera showed the software.
Yep, great point.
Good. Yeah, so I think we are in wrap-up mode then. We are here to help. The Maptician team is available directly, or you can come through Jeff, myself, or for our team. We are going to send out the webinar links. We're going to take a water break and a pivot to the demo. Here are the PVC and DCS contacts. Solomon will be your primary point of contact to go onboarding, because he's chained to his desk. We love him to hit quota, and he is a star. Pricing came in from Kathleen, so it's a per seat licensing model per user, plus the hardware. So similar to digital signage platforms, there's a subscription per instance. So Ashley, I don't know if you wanted to chat a little bit more about the pricing model, and it ranges anywhere from $3 to $6 a seat, depending on the feature. So it's relatively cheap. But go ahead, Ashley, or anyone else.
Yeah, just to actually continue on there. So that range is appropriate, and that is per user per month or paid annually. And then we have a very small and nominal implementation fee that's included at the onset. It's a one-time fee. So pricing is incredibly simple. It's a 60-day cancel for any reason. And we have a very short implementation period. So Kathleen, for an organization your size, we could absolutely have you up and running in probably a week if we really got things rolling. So very quick implementation there as well.
Yeah, and another one came to me directly is like, well, I have 1,000 staff, but I only need 200 to use it. And do you go by head count of the organization, or do I go by users in the queue? And I didn't know the answer, so I didn't answer it in chat. My apologies.
No, that's a great question. So it's people who are actively using the system. So we will recommend always to auto provision all of your users, to put people in seats and get a really clear picture of who's there and how you're using your space. But the system access level is what we would look at in that situation. Sure. And of course we have minimums, but we can talk about that more specifically later.
Yeah, because I can think of some of our shared clients that have dispatch centers or factory floors or staff in trucks. They're not
Yeah.
going to book a conference room.
Right.
So we wouldn't want an artificial license quantity based on people who could care less. I mean everyone's going to
Yeah.
care.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, Kathleen, you have 250 employees with few visitors. Today, our visitors, we will not charge for. I mean, things change daily for us, but that's the answer today. So we would, if you have 250 employees using the system, it would be that per employee per month or annually.
Yeah. And Kathleen is already a digital signage client of ours.
Oh, great.
Know a little bit about her environment, and certainly head count to license count would be some fraction of that because she's got a decent amount of staff who this would be a distraction, and we don't
Great.
want her team to be distracted. So.
Yeah, we can be very, very creative, and we really just try to keep this simple on the pricing side. So if we can, at another time really talk through what that looks like, we make it simple. So I can assure you of that.
Mehdi, I don't know if there's any other slides. We want to hit the pause button on all of the above. Don't forget to stick around on the live demo. Just to tease it out, just one last second on this. The Kathleen's experience is executives and team members with private offices and some centered cube farms, which do rotate, and some factory workers. And so theirs is probably a good test case for this.
That's great. Yeah, we'll like that. Yeah.
It's truly the hybrid space.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, good. All right, well, then I'm going to kill the recording. We can all take a health break and we'll come back. And does everyone mind? It's 1:34 Eastern. 3 minutes till we get started on the demo. Just water,
Perfect.
bathroom.
You got it.
Sounds great. Thanks, Randy.